Today we're going to work on making parallel lines. Now there are a couple of different ways to do this. There are lots of videos showing different ways on the internet, but one that doesn't show up very often is that making perpendicular lines twice actually results in parallel lines. So I'm going to use the technique of making perpendicular lines. In fact, a perpendicular line through that point. Now when you make a perpendicular line through the point, the center goes on the point, and you draw an arc that crosses your line twice. You can draw the full arc, or you can just focus on the two spots where it crosses the line. Because where the arc crosses the line, you make your 2 points. The compass center goes at each of those points, and you pick a number that's over half of the distance between the 2 points. So I'm going to use 45. And draw an arc at the top, and again at the bottom. Now remember that number, because you spin the compass around to the other point, you use the same number. Where those arcs cross, you connect it. Put arrows on the end of that line and mark it as 90 degrees. Now this first line should go through the point that was originally on your paper. So far this is nothing new. The next step though often causes some confusion because we're going to repeat exactly what we just did. But instead of using this point and this line, we're going to ignore all of this, and we're going to focus on this point and the vertical line. So the center of the compass goes on the point. Now this is the original point on the paper. This is not one that you made. And you need to draw an arc that crosses the vertical line twice. So it's often going to look something like that. It crosses down here and up here. Now the two places where the arc crossed the line is where the center of the compass goes each time. So the center of the compass goes up here, and you draw an arc, and the arc has to be half the distance. So I'm going to use 30. Draw an arc at the top, don't forget your number, and draw an arc toward the bottom. Now flip the compass around, put the center on the lower point, and use the same number. Where those two arcs cross, give you your new points to make a line. Connect them, and it should go through the original point that was placed on your paper. Now what we just made was another parallel or another perpendicular line. So go ahead and mark it 90 degrees also. Now ultimately we were trying to make parallel lines, which means that we need to mark that these are parallel also. So the symbol for parallel are some arrows on your paper. There's one arrow on the blue line, and you need to put an arrow facing the same direction on the second line. So that symbol there shows that these lines are parallel. We made perpendicular lines twice. Each time we made perpendicular lines, the center of the compass went on the point that was given on the paper. The first one we made was in red, the second one we made was in blue. The colors aren't necessary, but they often help distinguish one step from the next.